Hey everyone, it's me Triton, and in today's video I'm going to go over some of the highlights from EA's earnings report this past Tuesday, specific to Battlefront 2. As many of you might have heard, microtransactions are coming back into the game, and that was clearly what most people took away from the call. But before I talk about that, and offer up my opinion on what I hope microtransactions are like when they do return, I want to hit a few other highlights. For starters, EA let us know that 70% of players who have played Battlefront 2 have engaged in the campaign. I know there are a lot of mixed opinions on the campaign, particularly the narrative and the fact that it's considered canon, but given that there wasn't a campaign mode in the 2015 Battlefront game, I think this speaks to how badly people wanted to play a campaign and also bodes well for potential future Battlefront games. We also found out that EA projected 10 million copies sold by the end of 2017. The actual number of copies sold was around 9 million, so obviously they fell short of their goal, but they attributed that to the Loot Crate controversy, and I think that makes some sense. From the little bit I looked into on social media and Reddit before purchasing this game right before Christmas, it seemed like no one was playing this game and no one was going to. So I actually think 9 out of 10 in terms of projections isn't bad. Clearly some people stuck to their guns on this one and they didn't purchase the game, and in many ways I commend those people. But let's not pretend that people don't like to speak out of both sides of their mouth, and while getting a few likes on Twitter and social media for blasting this game was probably nice for them, they still ended up purchasing a copy. And the final thing I want to note here before diving into microtransactions is that CFO Blake Jorgensen claimed that Respawn's Star Wars title, believed to be a third-person action-adventure game, is on track to release during EA's 2020 fiscal year. That means we could expect it anytime between April 2019 to March of 2020. And regardless of whether or not they actually release the game during that window, I don't think we can realistically expect Battlefront 3 until 2021, or more realistically 2022, if at all. Okay, so now the part many of you might have been waiting for, microtransactions. I first want to say that if you followed the journey that is the Loot Crate controversy for this game, you know that EA took them out of Battlefront 2 right before launch. But they always intended to bring them back into the game. They clearly stated that at the time. The biggest mistake they made on the earnings call this past Tuesday was not giving any indication on what microtransactions would look like when they do come back, and that's pretty much on them. But with that in mind, if microtransactions are implemented next month as projected, which is meant to coincide with a new player progression system, let's hope they enhance the player experience and not detract from it. Here is my 2 cents on the matter and how I would like to see them come back. Put simply, make all microtransactions cosmetic in nature. An easy start would be different races, and within that, male and female versions for the trooper classes. I say easy because this feature, at least different races, was data mined but tied to the Loot Crate purchasing system, which is why we currently don't have them in the game. In terms of the amount of content they could offer in this way, there are a ton of different races in Star Wars, and they wouldn't all need to be made available at once. Specific ones that coincide with the current season, so there is always an incentive to play during each and every season, would be a nice way to implement that. Also, offering up a different skin for each trooper class, race, and gender intersection would allow for even more customization and allow for players to feel unique on the battlefield. I could certainly live without this level of customization, but this extra level has proven to be a big incentive for people to spend actual money on cosmetic items in other games. Hero skins are another easy implementation. I say that because they're already in the game, so adding more shouldn't be too taxing, I'd imagine. And actually, the most difficult part about this is that several characters never wear more than one outfit in the movies or Clone Wars TV series, so it might be hard to find more than a handful for certain characters. Now personally, I wouldn't like to see weapon skins or skins for starfighters, as I think that detracts from the lore of the game. The former is just something I've never seen in any other Star Wars movie or TV show, and the latter I think has actual gameplay implications, along with the fact that it's also something that I don't think we've seen in canon material. Another thing I think they should stay away from, and perhaps this goes without saying, but I definitely don't want there to be heroes that you have to purchase to unlock. That was one of the biggest issues with the initial Loot Crate controversy, so you'd hope EA has learned their lesson. Additionally, and this is a major one, I do hope they put a way in-game to obtain the potential cosmetic items either through credits or crafting parts. That doesn't mean they have to be cheap, but it at least gives players a chance to obtain items if they are willing to grind for them. It's kind of like the Overwatch model. Well, those are my thoughts on the EA earnings call and how I think microtransactions should be implemented in the future. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well, so feel free to leave a comment or interact with me on Twitter at TritonPlz. As always, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and checking out this video. I have a lot more content coming in the near future, so be on the lookout for that. But until then, guys, may the force be with you, and I hope you guys all have a great day.